Hello and welcome to Talking Golf with Gary. This week, the dynamic Gary will introduce you to all kinds of topics pertinent to this past week of golf. He'll give you some tidbits of information as what's coming up and take you on a tour around the world for all of the golfing highlights. Sit back and enjoy Talking Golf with Gary.
And hello and welcome to another edition of Talking Golf with Gary. Got a great one today. Got a terrific interview coming up. So want to get through the recap real quick. Not too much in the news. Mark Wilson was disqualified because of his yardage book. They changed the size of it, yada, yada, yada. You know, sometimes you got to watch these guys. They're always changing the rules, and he got a little confused and got disqualified. And congratulations to Jonathan Vegas, who was playing in the WGC event, or the Barracuda. He was playing in the Barracuda event. And he played one round, and then he withdrew after one round for a good reason. He rushed home after learning his wife went into labor with the couple's second child. So, in addition to the couple's daughter named Charlene, the couple officially added Louis Alexander to the mix on Friday. He is the proud papa of a new baby boy, so congratulations to Jonathan Vegas. So, let's take a look at the tournament's full slate this week, so let's get right to it. Brooks Koepka, there's that name again. He turned his final round duel with Rory McIlroy into a runaway for his first World Golf Championship title. Koepka had 3 birdies in a 4-hole stretch on the front 9 and cruised to a 3-stroke victory on Sunday in the WGC FedEx St. Jude Invitational. Playing with McIlroy in their final group pairing, Koepka, the FedEx Cup standings leader, closed with a bogey-free 5 under 65. And he was in control the whole way. At TPC Southwind for his 7th PGA Tour title, he finished at 16 under 264. McIlroy followed his third round 62 with a 71 to drop into a tie for 4th at 11 under. Webb Simpson had a 64 to finish second. Mark Leishman shot a 67 to finish third, 4 strokes back of Koepka. Tommy Fleetwood and Matthew Fitzpatrick joined McIlroy at 11 under. After tapping in for a par at number 18, Koepka celebrated with a little fist pump before hugging McIlroy. Koepka had been so close in recent weeks, coming in second at the U.S. Open in June and tying for 4th last week at the Open Championship. So he breaks through in a non-title tournament. Koepka wins his 7th title, and I think he's got Hall of Fame written all over him. And you know, every year we get a new group of college players joining the tour, and we hear a lot about them, but this year's group is really sensational. If you remember, Matthew Wolff needed just 3 starts to win a 3M Open, joining Tiger Woods and Ben Crenshaw as the only players to win an NCAA individual championship and a PGA Tour title in the same year. Now, Colin Morikawa has joined Wolff in the winner's circle. Morikawa birdied 4 of his final 5-hole Sunday to win the Barracuda Championship. It was Morikawa's 3rd consecutive top 4 finish, including a runner-up to Wolff at the 3M. Morikawa is now 46th in the FedEx Cup, guaranteeing him starts in at least 2 playoff events. His frenetic finish gave him a 3-point victory over Troy Merritt in the Barracuda's Stableford format, where a birdie is worth 2 points. Morikawa finished with 47 points. Merritt, the 54-hole leader, scored 7 points Sunday. He leapt to 68th in the FedEx Cup standings with his runner-up finish. So congratulations to Colin Morikawa on his first victory, and this is a good class between Wolff, Morikawa. You know, they were fighting it out at the 3M, if you remember, and some of these other guys they got coming boy, lots of new talent on the PGA Tour. And there's still some great old talent on the Champions Tour as Bernhard Langer beat Paul Broadhurst by 2 shots to win the Senior British Open on Sunday for his record-extending 11th senior major title and 40th win on PGA Tour Champions. Now let's take a thought of that. 40 wins on a PGA Tour Champions Tour. 40 wins this guy's got. He is unbelievable. He's got to go down as one of the greatest golfers of all time. He's got to be there. I mean, he's definitely the greatest senior golfer. But, consider he's won Masters. I mean, he's no lightweight, Bernhard Langer. And really, at the age of 61, he was 3 shots behind. He fired a 4 under 66 to finish at 6 under 274 for his 4th Senior Open title, a tournament record. After heavy rain delayed the round by almost 6 hours, the 2-time Masters champion opened with 4 birdies on the front 9, added 2 more on numbers 13 and 14 at Royal Lytham and St. Anne's to build a 4-stroke lead. He completed the round with a couple of bogeys on the 15th and 17th. Broadhurst shot 71 to come second. Retief Goosen of South Africa closed with a 66 to tie for third, with American Tim Petrovic with a 3 under 277. In his last appearance at the tournament, 3-time champion Tom Watson finished tied for 64th at 9 over. On Saturday, the 69-year-old American announced he wouldn't be playing at the event again. In his 18 appearances, he never missed a cut. Isn't that shame that Tom Watson is not going to be playing in the Senior Open as well as the regular Open anymore? And they'll miss him. They'll really miss him. He loved those tournaments. He loved playing over there, and it's a great loss to the game of golf, no matter how you face it. But he's getting older now, 69. I guess he wants to go semi-retire. He'll play a lot of events in the States, and but just I guess the travel's tough and all of that kind of stuff. So Tom Watson not playing anymore in the Open Championship. And on the LPGA Tour, they had a major as well, and it was Jin Young Ko, the 24-year-old South Korean who won the Evian Championship and moves back to number 1 in the Rolex rankings. She ends a streak of 10 consecutive different winners in the majors. She also has a leg up on the Rolex Annika Major Award and Rolex Player of the Year with her 3rd win of the year. With the ANA Inspiration in April, Ko is the first multiple major winner in a season since Imby Park did it in 2015. A 20-foot birdie putt on number 17 gave Ko a comfortable 2-stroke lead going to the par 5 18th, and she played it conservatively for a 2-putt par that sealed the win. Rookie Jennifer Kupcho may have gotten the attention of Solheim Cup captain Julie Inkster with a tie for second at 271 with Ho Ju Kim and Shanshan Fang after a bogey-free 66. An impressive effort for a rookie in the final round of a major, making just her 8th LPGA start, punctuating it with a birdie finish. So congratulations to Jennifer Kupcho, as well as, of course, Jin Young Ko, who goes back to number 1 in the Rolex rankings, and a double winner, major winner this season. So terrific golf being played all over the globe. They played that in France. A lot of complaints about the course, but didn't seem to bother Jin Young Ko. She went on to win a championship. And congratulations to all our winners this week: Brooks Koepka, Colin Morikawa, Bernhard Langer, and Jin Young Ko. And we are going to take a break here, a quickie little break. and be back with my special guest right after this.
Baseball and BBQ, your place for interesting baseball talk, opinions, and history.
Baseball and BBQ, your place for barbecue recipes, tips, and interviews from the world of barbecue. If you like baseball and if you like barbecue, then tune in to Baseball and BBQ. Find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and BaseballTalkRadio.com.
And I'm joined this week by a man who is an entrepreneur, an inventor, founder of Adams Golf. He's an author. He's very involved in the future of golf. And he has a brand new endeavor that he'll talk about a little bit about. And he is Barney Adams. And Barney, welcome to Talking Golf with Gary.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Barney, so talk to us a little bit about Adams Golf. And it was quite an innovative company. And how did you get started in that? You had been involved in a number of other industries. You got into the golf industry. You talk a little bit about Adams Golf?
Yeah, I actually ended up writing a book about it because it's such a long, convoluted story that I'd be on for hours. I don't think that would work very well. Golf is a game of passion. People get involved with the game or play the game and they love it, and they just, it becomes a significant factor to them. In my case, I'd always had an interest in golf equipment going all the way back to one of my first jobs at a golf course. I was a club cleaner, and I actually noticed what clubs were dirtier than others, and kind of took note of that because the ones that didn't get used very much, I wanted to know why, and, stupid stuff like that. It just all stuck with me. And that thought process that came to fruition when I was a custom fitter, and my customers always wanted help hitting a long second shot off the ground, and frankly, my clubs weren't very good at the job. I didn't think the design was correct. And to back up a step, that's a pretty fundamental point, because golf clubs, especially in the old days, it's like wood, let's say. Mm-hmm. When you had a driver, then you might have a 1-3-5 wood or something like that. And the 3 and the 5 woods would kind of look like mini drivers. They all looked alike.
Right.
Set of irons. The process for making a set of irons is you would design a 4 iron and an 8 iron, and then fill in the set. The 4 iron being the transition club from the long irons to the mid irons, and the 8 iron being the transition club from the mid irons to the short irons. And if you would show somebody, like a tour player, for example, a set of irons, inevitably the first club he would pick would be the 8 iron, because to see how well you were able to transition. Well, if you think about that process, and if you think about all the variables that go into making a club, the length of the club, the weight of the club, the loft, the lie, and so on and so forth, and you're trying to accomplish this set of consistent parabolas, so to speak. And I'm talking about the ball flight.
Right.
The ball leaves the ground, goes in the air, comes down to the ground X yards away. Mm-hmm. And then you use a different club to do the same parabola, but maybe 10 yards shorter. And then 10 yards shorter, and that becomes, of course, a set of golf clubs. Right. Well, mathematically speaking, with all of those variables, in order to achieve those parabolas, your strike has to be consistent. Otherwise, it would be chaos. Yeah. Well, last I looked, very few golfers had that consistent strike.
There's a lot of chaos.
Yeah, and then so in my mind, thinking or designing golf clubs changed from that methodology, if you will, to doing it backwards, saying, okay, I've got golfer X here, they're trying to hit the ball a certain distance, let's say, relative to their skill, make them a club that it gives them a chance to achieve that. Once you accomplish that, then they want to hit one, let's say, a little shorter. You start long and work short.
Right.
Well, the next one doesn't have to look like the one that you just did. It doesn't have to be a sibling, so to speak. It could be longer. It could be shorter. It could be anything. It's the idea of getting to that destination point with the most aid that you can give to the golfer. And in that thinking, I designed a club for my students, let's say, or my customers, when I was a custom fitter, to help them get the ball off the ground and so on. And it was designed specifically for that objective, because again, thinking about it in a different way, let's say, the driver, you have ball on tee. Well, to make another club that looks like a driver, roughly, but now you put the ball in the ground, didn't make any sense to me, because that's a completely different environment.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got ball on tee, ball on ground, ball on sand, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So my thinking always was to make clubs that were more relative to the striking environment. That thought process became a club that I named the Tight Lies, a fairway wood, which went on to be very, very successful, and it took me from, a hand-to-mouth living to a company that grew very, very rapidly, and we were very lucky. That's the short version, but the long version, like I say, would take very long.
And as you say, the Tight Lies was very successful. It really revolutionized the fairway woods market.
Yeah, the whole approach. You don't see quite that slavery, let's say, to match sets anymore. It used to be, like I said, the match set thing was a big deal, but you don't see that so much anymore. You see a set of irons, of course, but even within that set of irons, because that's how we made clubs, that we replaced the long irons with hybrids, but still made them somewhat of a set of irons and so on. So, like I say, we were very fortunate.
Yeah, and even within a set of clubs nowadays, even on the pro tours, you don't see, guys will mix and match styles and even brands, and that's something you really didn't see years ago, I don't think.
Yeah, very much so. Yes, very much so. It's and they will. It can get so specific that if they're playing a course that, let's say, has unusual sand in the traps, could be super course or something like that.
Right.
They may even change wedges for that particular tournament to facilitate ball and sand.
Well, of course, the Tight Lies was a major innovation in the world of golf, but was there any other innovations from Adams Golf that era or that time period of your life that you're most proud about?
Well, we took the hybrids from being, like, say, standalone clubs to part of a set of golf clubs. And I like that approach because, again, in my mind, I was making clubs for average players, people who struggled getting the ball up in the air off of a tight lie, people who didn't hit the ball perfectly all the time. And the more I could do to, give them more enjoyment with the shots, that was always the objective.
And then you in 2012, believe you sold the company TaylorMade to TaylorMade Adidas. What made you sell at that time?
Well, first place, I was really out of it by then. We had gone public in 1998, and when you go public, you effectively have sold your company.
Right.
And I was retired by then. We had a management team. We had a very competent management team running the place. And there were a series of situations, incidents, if you will, that resulted in them deciding to put the company up for sale, and TaylorMade purchased it.
Uh-huh. And now you said you were retired, but I guess you still had the itch to do some more inventing and things, because 2018 you started a new venture called Breakthrough Golf Technology.
Yeah, you said retired, but we didn't say smart. So, here I am again. The common thread is this. I'm only interested in a product that has a technological base, not a good marketing story.
Uh-huh.
Because golf is a marketing business. People think of golf, amateurs particularly, think of golf as a product business. But it is not. It is a marketing business. Golf clubs are not sold. Golf clubs are bought.
Mm-hmm.
That means you've got to influence the buyer to get up, go someplace, make a purchase, and that is called big-time marketing dollars. And so let's say the new drivers that are out that are very, very good are effectively a version of the drivers last year that were very, very good.
Right.
Because would be kind of insulting to a company to say, "Oh, wait a minute, this new driver you just came out with, it's so wonderful. You mean the ones you did last year were bad? Did you rip off the public?" And of course, that's not true.
Right.
So it's a marketing-based business, and that's fine. But that was never my interest. Mm-hmm. My interest was a technology-based, something that you could prove had an advantage. And that's what became the genesis for Breakthrough Golf, a putter shaft, of all things, I might say. But if you think about putters, there's two things about putters that really kind of woke me up, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
The putter designs, I mean, gosh, you go to a golf store and there's 46 million putter designs there, and they're all good. They're very well done, and the heads are large, and they have weight distribution, so the head doesn't twist, and so on and so forth. Well, through the rest of that club, there's a steel shaft. Mm-hmm. And the steel shaft has been around for about 70 years.
Right.
And I don't think there are very many things that we use on a daily basis that are 70 years old.
It's true.
And what has happened is, as these heads have gotten larger and heavier, they stress the steel shaft. And the shaft, if you can't see it, but during the putting stroke, the shaft actually wobbles or oscillates slightly. And when the shaft is doing that, the head is doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So the head does not return to the ball square on a consistent basis. And yet, in the modern putting stroke on smooth and fast greens, having the head return to the ball square is absolutely the heart and soul of the putting stroke.
Right.
So we designed a shaft that mitigates that oscillation and does return to the head square. And this is my point. It is technically better. We tested it. We third-party tested it. We challenged the people that were doing the testing to prove that we were wrong, that it didn't work the way we said it did, but in fact that it does. So it is a technically superior product. That said, getting that message across to the golfing world is a challenge.
It is very difficult because it seems, as you said, it is a marketing business, and it's also a cash business. If you're paying a pro, they'll play the product sometimes, whether it helps their game or not. And if you're a small company, I guess it makes it very difficult to get that foothold.
Yeah, if they're a pay-for-play business, there's no question. And if you talk to a touring pro, let's say if you go out on tour and talk to a touring pro, the first person that shows up is his agent, and takes over the conversation, and then we get into the how much routine and so on and so forth.
Right.
And as a small company, we don't pay. And our problem is even worse than that. Our shaft is the same weight, same balance, same everything, and so on. So it's not like there's a big adjustment.
Mm-hmm.
We recognize that you can't do that to a tour player. You've got to put something in their hands that feels, quote, normal to them.
Right.
But we can shaft them up with our shaft, which is better than what they have, and they can putt very poorly. Because occasionally they do putt poorly.
Right.
They're human beings.
Uh-huh.
This is not you put it in the putter and you start making everything. Sorry, It doesn't work that way.
Right.
What we do say and we stand behind is over the course of a season, when you look at your data, it will improve. We know it will improve. But again, to the tour player, I'll try it, I guess. What the heck, He tries it, and he doesn't putt that well for the first time or so.
Uh-huh.
He's 50-50 to put it away because they want instant gratification, and it just doesn't happen.
Right.
So it's that much more difficult. The people that the phenomena that I see with people that I know that use it is when they first get it, it's like, well, I'll try it. I try everything. What the heck? And I talk to them maybe a week or two later, and I say, how's it going? I don't know. I think so. I think it's okay. Then I see them a month later, and I ask them, and they say, you couldn't, I take it home with me at night. You couldn't tear it out of my hands. I love it. I know I'm putting better. I know I have more control. I have more confidence, and the game is more fun. Well, that's kind of the world we live in, as I say.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is.
With the advent of more coverage on TV, and you see a lot more. I remember when I was a kid that when you saw the last couple of holes on TV, and you only, saw the top groups and the best shots and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
With the advent now of all these other channels and more coverage of the 18 holes, you see the pros making screwed up shots, for lack of a better term, and I've noticed that the putting has seemed to have how can I word it, slipped a notch. It doesn't seem as accurate, and I guess that's only the point that you're seeing more shots now. But is it almost like sometimes I feel like it's becoming a lost art, the short game, and everything is power. Am I wrong in that, or is this some truth?
Power sells.
Mm-hmm.
Power sells. If the golf tournaments were watching the guys make a bunch of 6-footers, the viewership would be single digits.
This is true.
Nobody watch. But watching the guy hit a 362-yard drive over the fairway trap and so on, it's like, wow.
Yeah.
It's good TV. And professional golf is television entertainment. But people, again, don't understand that. They talk about golf like golf at the club is the same as golf on TV. Forget the skill factor, which is eons different.
Right.
It's professional entertainment. The producers, you're right, with all the different cameras now and their ability to show things, are going to show spectacular shots. I mean, again, I guarantee it, if you think of this, we're watching a tournament and, 2 or 3 guys are fighting it out for the lead, and then the camera will switch to another pro who's maybe 7 or 8 shots off the pace.
Mm-hmm.
and he's teeing off on a par 3, and you know he's going to hit it close.
Yeah.
In fact, he might even make it, right? It's good television. You know,
Right.
It's a spectacular shot, flies up with the green, almost goes in. That's good. That's what the producers want. The fact that he's not in the chase, so to speak, for that moment in time is irrelevant because it's television entertainment.
Right. Right.
And but I will give you an interesting stat. I did a study on putting statistics over from 2003 to 2018, and if you this is Tour Shot Link data, their numbers, they actually putt a little worse now than they did 15 years ago. And you'd think they putt better because, again, if you go back to television, what do you see? Oh, there's player X.
Yes.
By same scenario, he's not in the hunt. He's got a 68-foot putt with 9 breaks, and he makes the darn thing. You know, it's exciting to watch.
Yeah, it's true.
So you think, my God, those guys make everything. Well, they don't show all the ones they miss because that's not good television.
Right.
So, there's no question about the fact that it's a power game, and a power game is what sells. But the old show is, you know, if you drive for dough, you putt for. You drive for show, you putt for dough.
Yeah.
It isn't how many shots. So it's always the guy that's in the hunt, or guys that are in the hunt, are having a good week putting.
So we've had all this innovation in the club head itself with the putters, and nobody thought to look at the shaft. I mean, it seems like a weird thing. I mean, with all the club fitting and the measurements and the weighing and how they're so worried about grams of weight, and yet they continue to use, or we all continue to use, the same old thing.
Yeah, it's a very, very slight change. You can't pick it up unless you have equipment that's specifically designed. For example, you can't pick up this change if you're testing with humans. The human error is too great. You can't pick up this change if you're putting on a regular green. The green surface becomes too much of a factor, and so on and so forth. We have a lab with a perfect green and a robot to produce the putting stroke. And in that kind of environment, we can track the variation in the shaft and what we had to do to fix it and so on. And frankly, it's another one of the joys of business. We'll sell them to say a club fitting operation, and they'll have a little 6-foot putting green or 8-foot putting green, and they'll say, well, that doesn't make any difference. We tested it. We can't find any different. Well, they can't, because you can't do it in that environment. You have to have a specific environment that picks up these kind of variations. And again, it's you just have to hang in there with that kind of stuff because it's the nature of the business.
So what does the future hold now for Breakthrough Golf Technology? More work on the shaft to improve it even more? Will you be getting into putter heads and expanding that? What
we
about
just came out with we just came out with a new tour version. It's a little slimmer. Other than that, it really isn't that much different, but it has a little different look. You know, it's again, when you're dealing with a tour, you're dealing with very specific reactions to things, and we heard a couple of comments that because our shaft is it's not big by any stretch of the imagination,
Right.
but it is slightly bigger than a steel shaft.
Right.
And that was the first thing they noticed. They think, oh boy, it's too bad this is not the same diameter as a steel shaft. So we said, okay, so we'll make it a little bit thinner. So that's just coming out of the marketplace. We are working on some other products, but it's the same principle. If they don't bring something to the party, they're not a marketing story. If they don't bring something to the party, then we're not doing it. So we'll see what happens.
Now, can the average, will this shaft help the average golfer as well, the high handicapper? And if it does, where can you purchase it from?
Yeah, it will help the average golfer even more. Some of my most loyal customers are women, because women golfers women amateur golfers, on the whole, aren't very good putters, and they just won't put the time and the effort in. They got better things to do, and
Right.
I understand that. But they love the putter. They absolutely love it. And for people who want to get one, there's a website, Breakthrough Golf Technology, and they could access the website, then do all the web things that I don't even understand. But we sell a lot of them through, so to speak. Because people out there.
That's right. And well, you're breaking up a little bit now.
Sorry. Come to our it's way.
Well, we're all looking to improve, and hopefully this is a step in the right direction, and we've tried the bigger heads on the putters, we've tried the bigger grips, and it only makes sense that the shaft really is the thing that connects it all, and we're not really, that's the thing to work on now. And I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy day and coming on today.
Well, thanks for having me on. Appreciate talking to you guys, because it's a complex subject, to be honest with you.
It certainly is, and it's a complex game sometimes. Well, thanks again, Mr. Adams, and I hope we can talk again in the future. All right, we apparently have lost Barney Adams, but I want to thank him again for coming on. And I'll be back right after this.
Sponsor an ad on the podcast. Support our show and let people know about your business. Email us today.
516-362-0443. That is the Talking Golf Hotline. If you've got a question, a comment, or want to leave a voicemail, say hi. That's the number to call, 516-362-0443. Or if you'd like to leave an email, you can email the show at talkinggolf@gmail.com.
Now it's time to do the calendar. Now it's time to do the calendar. Oh, hooray, let's sing the calendar. Now it's time to do the calendar.
Okay, on the calendar for this week's action. Not a lot going on next week, as the tours are completely off, but the PGA Tour will be playing the Wyndham Championship, which at one point I believe was part of the playoffs, but now we have knocked it down. So no longer part of the playoffs, but the Wyndham Championship next week. Brandt Snedeker is the defending champion in that one. Champions Tour is off as they make their way back from England. The European Tour is off. In fact, they'll be off for 2 weeks. They're taking the next 2 weeks off. And the LPGA Tour will be playing the AIG Women's British Open. So it is the ladies' time to play that tournament. The AIG Women's British Open takes place next week, and I think that's the final major of the year in all of the tours. I could be wrong. I have to double check that, but I believe so. And Georgia Hall is the defending champion in that one, so go check that out next week. That should be on the Golf Channel and late at night or early in the morning, depending upon who you are, where you live. What's your nightlife like? And that's going to wrap it up for this week's show. Hope you enjoyed it. I want to thank my guest, Barney Adams, for a great interview. Thanks so much, Barney. And I want to thank you all for listening. And don't forget to subscribe on iTunes, YouTube, Spreaker, Google Play, Spotify, wherever you listen or watch the podcast. And please watch the podcast on YouTube. Go to YouTube and click on the like, give us a like, and hit the subscribe button. You know, when you hit that button, it helps me grow the show and expand to new listeners. And remember, until next time, as you walk down the fairway of life, you must smell the roses, for you only get to play one round. Have a great week, everybody, and I'll see you next time on another edition of Talking Golf with Gary.